Before we deconstruct the brutal psychological mathematics of extreme success, I have 3 critical questions for you to answer in the comments below. Number 1, are you currently optimizing your life and career simply to avoid failure? Completely unaware that playing it safe mathematically guarantees your obsolescence? Number 2, have you accepted the absolute structural reality that you are going to suffer either way? And have you actively chosen the pain of your own ambition over the pain of someone else's? Number 3, do you possess the unshakable cognitive endurance to stay violently obsessed with a single value stream for 10 consecutive years while your peer quits at the first sign of friction? Let me know your answer. If you're new to the channel, here is my intro. I'm Dr. HR and I approach the global labor and capital market not with emotional, comforting advice, but as a structural, algorithmic system. I hold a PhD in human resources, a master's from prestigious Tata Institute of Social Sciences, TISS in Mumbai, and a bachelor's in computer engineering. Operating on the ground here in Dubai since 2010, consulting for Tier 1 corporate entities, sovereign wealth funds, and apex tech founders, I have monitored exactly how elite human potential is either realized or utterly destroyed. The market does not reward your comfort, it rewards your capacity to endure and synthesize friction. The global corporate machine is actively sedating you. It feeds you easy routine, easy distraction, and illusion of safety. But comfort is slowly mathematically shrinking your life. We are going to dismantle the psychological limit that keeps the middle class trapped in mediocrity. The biggest breakthrough do not happen when you acquire a new skill. They happen when you realize you can handle infinitely more pain than your biologists tell you. Half of the human limitation is purely psychological. Most people write their stories based on their current limited circumstances. Apex operators reverse the algorithm. They define the sovereign future first, and they align every single action towards it. If you want extraordinary outcomes, you must stop optimizing for safety. You did not come this far to play small. Before I completely deconstruct the architecture of comfort, expose the exact mechanics of a Decadal Compounding Algorithm, and give you the precise blueprint to build an asymmetrical life through meaningful pain, hit the subscribe button and press the notification bell. I post daily videos showing you exactly how to navigate the global labor and capital market using cold, hard engineering logic. You do not want to miss these execution protocols. Stop letting fear masquerade as practicality. Grab a notebook, it is time to engineer your obsession. Phase 1, the dopamine matrix, the lethality of comfort. We must first diagnose the exact debilitating biological trap that neutralizes 99% of high IQ operators before they even reach the executive boardroom. In the 2026 digital economy, comfort has been weaponized. It is the most addictive substance on the planet because it provides instant, frictionless dopamine. Look at the architecture of your daily life. You have easy, algorithmically delivered food. You have easy, infinite entertainment streaming into your optic nerve. You have easy, predictable corporate routine that requires zero adaptive cognitive load. The system is perfectly engineered to remove all biological friction. The amateur views this lack of friction as victory. They believe they have made it when their life becomes easy. This is a catastrophic illusion. Comfort slowly, relentlessly shrinks your life. When you remove physical, intellectual, and emotional friction from your daily existence, your biological hardware begins to atrophy. Your tolerance for stress collapses. Your baseline for anxiety drops so low that minor inconveniences, a delayed email, a difficult client conversation, a slight change in project scope, trigger massive debilitating panic. Growth does not occur in a state of homeostasis. In structural engineering, a muscle or a material only strengthens when it is exposed to a micro-tear and load-bearing stress. To escape the dopamine matrix, you must become the architect of your own friction. Growth comes exclusively from voluntarily choosing discomfort repeatedly. The apex operator does not wait for a crisis to force them to adapt. They artificially inject high-stakes friction into their daily routine. They take the hardest project. They initiate the most difficult negotiation. They execute the presentation that terrifies them. They are systematically expanding their psychological bandwidth, ensuring that when the real, unscripted market chaos hits, their baseline is already calibrated to handle it. Phase 2, the psychological friction protocol, redefining your limits. Why do most people quit? Why do brilliant engineers or highly educated strategists stall out in middle management? It is not because they lack intellect. It is not because they lack physical capability. The biggest breakthrough happens when you realize a cold, hard truth. You can handle far more pain than you think. When you are executing a massive corporate turnaround, or launching a startup in the DIFC, or migrating a legacy enterprise to an AI architecture, you will hit a wall. Your brain will flood your systems with cortisol. Your amygdala will scream at you to stop, to rest, to retreat, to safety. You must understand that half of the human limitation is pure psychological hallucination. When your brain tells you that you are at 100% capacity, you are mathematically only at 40%. The brain is an evolutionary survival mechanism designed to conserve energy. It lies to you to keep you safe. Most people simply stop too early. They interpret the initial wave of psychological friction as a structural failure. They quit right at the boundary where the actual exponential growth begins. To break this limit, you must decouple your identity from your biological panic. When the pain hits, when the exhaustion hits, you must view it objectively as data. You say, my system is experiencing a high cognitive load. This is the exact sensation of my capacity expanding. You push through the artificial barrier. You normalize the psychological pain. And in doing so, you access reserve of focus and execution that your competitor do not even know exist. Phase 3, asymmetrical risk allocation, the safety trap. We must address the ultimate career killer, the optimization for safety. If you want extraordinary outlier outcomes, if you want to command the highest sovereign premium in the global market, you must stop trying to build a safe life. This is a profound insight from strategic thinkers like Bradley Kellard and operators like Weaver. Trying too hard not to lose mathematically guarantees mediocrity. When you optimize your career for safety, you make predictable choices. You accept the 3% annual raise instead of demanding a 40% relocation premium. You stay at a bloated legacy firm instead of joining the high volatility, high yield startup. You keep your mouth shut in the boardroom to avoid offending the vice president. You protect your downside perfectly, but you completely amputate your upside. Greatness, absolute sovereign leverage, requires the exact opposite mechanics. It requires uncertainty, vulnerability, exposure, and emotional risk. There is no extraordinary safe life. If you want a 10x return on your human capital, you must accept asymmetrical risk. You must step into the glass boardroom and present a strategy that might get you laughed at. You must risk the embarrassment of failure. You must expose your authentic, raw, intellectual output to the world. This brings us to an absolute law of the universe. You will suffer either way. The amateur believe that by choosing safety, they avoid suffering. That is a lie. The pain is unavoidable. You can suffer the intense, acute pain of chasing your own sovereign dream, the late night, the rejection, the financial volatility, the brutal sting of the market failure. Or you can suffer the dull, chronic, soul-crushing pain of living someone else's dream. The pain of sitting in a cubicle at age 50, realizing you traded your entire biological potential for a mediocre salary and a meaningless title. Pain is the baseline. Meaningless pain is a choice. The apex operator chooses the pain that yields equity, sovereignty, and absolute leverage. Phase 4, the Decadal Compounding Algorithm, 10-year obsession. We have mapped the lethality of comfort, the illusion of psychological limit, and the necessity of meaningful pain. Now we must execute the time horizon. The global economy is obsessed with the hack, the 30-day transformation, the 90-day sprint. This is a short-term, low-yield thinking. People massively underestimate the terrifying power of doing one single thing for a decade. We understand financial compounding, how money grows exponentially over time, but we fail to apply that exact same mathematical law to our own biology and operations. Compounding is not just financial. Skills compound. The code you write today makes the code you write tomorrow 1% faster. Over 10 years, you're not twice as fast, you're 100 times faster. Relationship compound. The trust you build with an executive in Dubai today's pays dividend when they become a CEO in London 5 years from now. Reputation compounds. When the market knows you as an operator who delivers flawless executions under pressure, your name becomes an unshakable, self-fulfilling asset. Confidence compound. Surviving chaos breeds the absolute certainty that you can survive future chaos. The person who stays obsessed the longest usually wins. You must stick to a specific high leverage value stream for at least 10 years. There is almost no obstacle on the planet stronger than a highly intelligent operator who remains violently excited and focused on a single mission for a decade. Intensity matters significantly less than duration. Amateur sprints for 6 months, burn out and quit. They quit before they achieve mastery. They quit before the market momentum shifts in their favor. They quit right before the exponential curve of compounding actually begins. In a world addicted to a 15-second TikTok, dopamine hits, and rapid job hopping, patience is now an apex competitive advantage. If you simply refuse to quit your structural obsession for 10 years, you will mathematically outlast 99% of your competition. Phase 5. Reverse engineering the sovereign timeline. The final phase is a cognitive operating system you must install to execute the decade-long obsession. How do you view your own life? Most people write their life stories based on their current circumstances. They look at their bank account, their current job title, their current geographical locations, and they say, "This is who I am. Based on this, what is the most realistic, safe next steps?" This is a reactive beta operating system. Powerful sovereign operator completely reverse the order. First, they define the absolute future. They architect the exact reality they want to inhabit in a 10-year. Second, they align their current actions violently toward the fixed point. You must not write stories about what happened to you. You must write stories about what you demand to happen. The future is an algorithmic input that dictates your present execution. If your future state requires you to be a multi-million dirham consulting architect, you do not act like a junior analyst today. You adopt the risk profile, the networking strategies, and the structural boldness of the future state immediately. And as you execute this, you must eradicate the two most dangerous, toxic phrases in the human language: "not me" and "not now." Both of these phrases are biological fears cleverly disguised as logical practicality. The multi-million-dollar opportunity appears, the high-stakes relocation to Abu Dhabi appears, the chance to build a startup appears, and your amygdala, terrified of the uncertainty, whispers, "Someone else is better qualified to do it, not me." The economy is too volatile right now. I need more experience. Not now. Maybe later. Years disappear that way. Decades evaporate in the waiting room, or maybe later. You did not come this far. You did not invest thousands of hours into your education and your career to play small. The world will constantly, relentlessly pressure you into safety, into conformity, into caution, and into emotional hiding. Society wants you to be predictable by asymmetrical lives. Lives of absolute wealth, profound impact, and unbreakable sovereignty belongs exclusively to the people willing to risk massive embarrassment. They belong to the people willing to pursue a decadal obsession. They belong to the people who look at the pain and say, "I chose this." Look closely at your current operational baseline. Are you optimizing for comfort or are you optimizing for greatness? Stop letting fear masquerade as practicality. Embrace the discomfort. Choose your suffering. Commit to the 10-year compounding algorithm and write the story of the future you demand. Process the data, execute the strategy, and I'll see you at the top.